Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Tailgate Talk here at sunjournal.com. Kalle Oaks, Randy Whitehouse, Justin Pelletier here to break down Class B for Week 8.
Week 8. That'd be the next to last week
for Class
Western B.
Yes, absolutely.
Last week
for Eastern B. Let's start in Eastern B. We got one game there this week for us. That's Levitt visiting Gardner, and that originally was probably going to be the marquee matchup. Gardner battling an injury or two, and that's probably going to tip the scales in the favor of the Levitt Hornets.
This is the don't read too much into last week game, because Levitt with the only 21-7 win over Winslow, and Gardner with the 62-7 rout of Nokomis, where they ran up like 650 yards of offense. I don't see Gardner being that much of a threat without Eddie Donnell, who broke his leg a couple weeks ago against Camden Hills. It's just a totally different team. They struggled. I will say that they found their way last week, obviously, because they struggled. They lost to Belfast in the interim. But, you know, I think it's a game that Levitt certainly – I think the Winslow game, if anything, was bad news for Gardner, because Levitt will come into this game with a great deal of focus, trying to not only lock up the number 1 seed, but play – you know, a game that will give them a springboard into the playoffs.
And a lot of that focus is going to be on stopping Alonzo Connor, Gardner's exquisite running back. I mean, this guy's spectacular. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the YouTube clips of him. Yeah. He's an incredible running back. Apparently, they tried to throw some different looks last week, give Levitt some different things to think about. They ran a little wildcat with their backup quarterback last week, but I think it would be kind of foolish to rely on that too much against Levitt this week. They need to give the ball to Alonzo Connor as much as possible. As far as the Hornets are concerned, they want to get their offense completely right going into the playoffs. You know, like Cal said, you can't read too much into last week, but the offense has been a little inconsistent here over the course of the season, and they'd like to be in a little bit more of a flow to defend their championship.
Mountain Valley at York, we finally get that tougher part of the schedule. Mountain Valley was supposed to have a tough time last week against Falmouth. They didn't have a tough time on the turf against Falmouth. Now they go down to York, another tough game. Is this going to be a little bit tougher?
No, this is the game that back in August I think we thought would be the battle for the number 1 seed, and the game that Mountain Valley would have to worry about most in terms of winning the regular season and the playoff conference title. But it hasn't been that way. York lost its first 2 games, was dealing with some injuries early in the year. They've won 4 out of the last 5, but I still don't see this being a slip up for Mountain Valley. You know, they're always, even though this isn't a vintage Cape team, they certainly could be looking forward to the Cape game next week, but I don't think that's going to happen either. I think you're looking at the best team in Western B.
Making the bus trip south to York is never an easy thing.
Well,
sometimes it takes them a quarter
against Trape last year.
Especially the Wildcats are going into this game desperate. If they have any hopes of making the playoffs, they got to win out. So they're going to want to jump on the Falcons real early. Falcons came out a little bit shaky last week against Falmouth, but then just thoroughly dominated from about the second quarter on. Defense has just been so impressive. 2 touchdowns all season. I think their defense has actually outscored their opponents something like 26-30-12. Just an incredible effort last week against Falmouth, shutting down their passing game and making their running game just a non-factor. And they'll, I'm sure, be dominant again this week.
A couple of quick hits here, guys. We just mentioned Falmouth getting thumped last week. That can't be good for Poland going against Falmouth.
Well, you know, hey, let's give Poland a call. They shut out Freiburg the week before. They jump out to a 12-0 lead against Wells and give them a game. And Wells, from all indications, has been right there with Mountain Valley all season long in Western B. So, yeah, it's probably bad news for the Knights, but they're playing extremely well, and Falmouth has been kind of on the downside for a couple of weeks. So, hey, maybe it's another shot for Poland to at least be in a game and go into next week's game with Great New Gloucester with some confidence.
And we talk about, you mentioned Great New Gloucester, they get to go down and visit Wells, who again, coming off of a shaky performance. That could also be bad news for the Patriots.
That's definitely bad news for the Patriots, and you know, they're probably looking forward to their rivalry game next week against Poland. They'll have a little bit more legitimate shot that week.
Thanks a lot, guys. Randy, Cal, Justin Pelletier from sunjournal.com/tailgate talk. Have a wonderful day.